Good morning. Thanks for joining me and welcome back. It's Judy from Thistledew Creations, and today I'm going to do a Dollarama project. I got this garland of spider webs from Dollarama the other day, and immediately I thought of book covers when I saw them. So I made one yesterday, a little bit of a prototype, and I think I want to make another one just like it. All I did was I have this notepad paper, notebook paper, that is just about the right size. So I cut the shape of the spider web out of the paper and left it a little bit big all the way around. And then I tore the edge down the side. So we can start by doing our torn edge. And all I did because I wasn't sure at the time how wide I wanted the paper to be, so all I did was take off the bare minimum. So I lined up, my ruler has a center opening. So I lined up the center opening on the edge of the page and held down firmly. And then tear. And if you can do it without moving the ruler, those tears should all line up pretty darn close. And then, so my widths aren't perfect, but I'll line them up along the torn edge like this. And then lay these are nice thick cardstock with like all over glittery embossing. I left a little bit of the torn edge showing out the spine. And all I did was trace around it with a pencil. You don't really need to draw this line. I did before, but you don't need to, because you're not really going to cut there. And I just did a very light tracing. So that I get that shape just right. And I actually didn't use my ripple scissors for this. I just moved my scissors back and forth. Maybe I will do that again just to show you, because it's actually a little bit more subtle than ripple scissors. Actually, I'll do one of each. I think I got my ripple scissors right here, close by. I haven't used them in about a week. I kind of miss them. They've been in my bag. So then these off cuts or off tears I will keep, because they will be great in clusters. So I have a section in my stack that is all strips, and I put them in there. I'm trying to get good at putting things like that away right away, or at least at the end of the project day. Now I did 10 pages in these, but I think I'll only cut 5 at a time. So again, lining up that torn edge. And then I did clamp yesterday just so that it wouldn't move around on me. So grab yourself a bulldog clip or something like that. Something that'll be nice and tight on there. And then that's tight, so I want to go about 1/4 inch beyond that and cut. I'm trying not to be too pointy at the pointed parts, making it a nice curve. around the end, we don't have a lot to work with, so we just need to kind of rough it up a bit. And then for the second set of 5, line that up again. And I think I'll just follow it. So these won't be identical because the little scissors are going to cut it just slightly differently the second time. So what I did the last on that book was I alternated the pages, every other one, so that it's consistently irregular. Because you're really cutting beside your old cut, and your ripples aren't lining up the same, but not like they did with the tear ruler. So then these sheets, I've got now 20 of these that I can use for something else. I can either punch something out of them or tear little pieces or make little pockets. I could make little scalloped pockets, glue a couple together so they're more rigid and make some little scalloped pockets or something. I'll figure out a way to use them. They're not going to go in the bin just yet. And then this, I can erase the lines. That's why I didn't press very hard. I don't want that to leave a crease in the paper. And then I really like the way that this looks inked up. So I inked both sides of every page. You can see the difference there. Now normally I do ground espresso when I do a craft paper color, but I did use vintage photo on this one. I had just re-inked it, so it was pretty rich color. So I've got my two different, slightly different pieces, so I'm gonna alternate them every other one, just so that it's not like the front of the book is one shape and the back of the book is the other shape. It'll be more evenly distributed. They line up pretty well, but they're not actually identical. Actually, I think I did a lot better this time than I did before. I'm not going to ink because it'll take me about an hour to ink them all. I'm just going to show you how I put it together. So I put the first one on and got it where I wanted it. And then I grabbed my crocodile because I can do a slightly smaller hole with it than I can with my regular hole punch. Because the crocodile, it's not a crocodile, it's a Timu one. It has these two different sizes of holes on the sides here. So I just went through the existing holes that were already in them from the garland. There was a black ribbon strung through them. I went through the same hole all the way through all the pages. And in the center, I just eyeballed it. And then the end. And then on the back side, kind of important to keep these lined up because of the holes. Line up the end holes. So these ones don't need to be redone, but that center one does. So I just lined it up this way. And put a hole in the middle. You probably could get away with just having the 2 holes, but it just made more sense to me to have 3. And then all I did to, well, no, I shouldn't say all I did. I used metal grommets because when I started to pull the ribbon through, it felt like this might rip, even though it is pretty thick. And I think that embossing glitter actually strengthens it a bit, but I just felt like it needed reinforcing. And I like the look of these. I'm going to do gold ones on this one. I have 6 of them. And I don't know about you guys. I do sometimes use the rings, but I didn't use them this time. And it works fine without them too. So I'm going to go in the middle first. And since I had this project worked out last night when I couldn't film, I thought it would go really smoothly. The grommet fits better in the original holes than the ones that I punched. It's a little tighter. Now for this one, I thought I'd see about a different ribbon. I've got some black. It's actually hoping for some buffalo check. I can't believe that I don't have buffalo check ribbon in my ribbon drawer. That just can't be right. So you don't need a very large piece. I think those pieces were about 6 inches. Let's do, oh no, they were a little bit longer. They were more like 10 inches. And then what I do is I fold them in half lengthways right about the middle. And then get this lined up. So something through the hole will help line it up. And then I'm just going to do a lark's head knot. Actually, you know what? I did a lark's head knot on this one and I'm not really happy with how it feels. So let's try going in with the pointy end. So just squish it up so that it's skinnier. You might need to use your pokey tool or a pencil to get it to go through. You could actually put it onto a darning needle or something too. Or leave it extra long and glue the ends so that it's stiff. I'm not having much luck here. I think I had better luck putting it through the middle. I guess I could do that. Get that hole lined up as good as possible so that there's a bigger area for it to go through. There you go. So once you've got it through, you can just pull on one end and then tie a knot. And I want to leave it a little loose because I want the book to be able to open. Actually, what I'll do is I'll stick my pencil in there and tie it tight to the pencil. And then they'll all be the same looseness or tightness, whichever way you want to look at it. They could be little bows, but I think more like just little tails. So I'm doing it into thirds because this is pretty tight squeeze. Doesn't really matter which way you're going in if you're going to tie it. I had to make sure I went in the same direction each time for the lark's head knot so that my loops were all on the same side, like this piece. But this one isn't going to be a lark's head, so it doesn't matter. My pencil in there. Of course, if you're worried about it coming undone, you could put a dab of glue in your knot. And if you were concerned about the pages, you could grommet each page, but you could just use some cardstock hole protectors too. Would help. The more of those little things that you do, the more sturdy the whole thing will be. So with the pencil in there, now that allows this page to open. Whereas this one, I mean, you have somewhat control over how tight that is, but it doesn't really want to open. So I think I might change this one to a normal knot as well and leave the space. This will be more difficult to ink now. I was also thinking it would look good with purple ink. Maybe I'll do that on this one. Grab my purple ink and a dauber. Gorgeous grape from Stampin' Spot. I haven't used this one, I don't think. Let's see how it looks on the brown paper before we do it. orange. Let's see how that works. Oh yeah, that's gonna look nice. I'll just do the front so you can see what it'll look like, and then I'll do the rest of it off camera because I do want to do every single page, front and back. It makes the edges look really good when you do that because they get really saturated with ink. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to use these for some swaps later this month or early in October. There's always Halloween swaps. This edge won't matter as much. On that one, I inked them before I even put it together. I was just watching YouTube videos. I think I was watching Ingrid Carlson. I don't know if you've seen her videos. They're very relaxing to watch. I like the way she talks. The purple accent just, I think it's good. And then I was thinking that I would look for some embellishments for the front, but I kind of like the simplicity of this one. Not everything has to be embellished to the nines. There, I like the way that looks. I'll finish that up later tonight. And these might get shortened too. Just to a smaller, which is a shame because I guess I can use those for sentiments or something. Make sure they're folded right in half and start in the center and go to the outside edge. Make yourself a little ribbon end. That one's not even. I don't know if it needs to be even. You can get a little too carried away with that sometimes. There, that's better. And then these can go into my ribbon drawer, and when I need something to put behind a sentiment, I've got it already pre-cut. So I'm really happy with those, and I think they'll be really cute giveaways for Halloween. I might look for a metal spider charm to put in the web. I do have some, so I will probably add those. I don't think I have one handy. I went through my Halloween box yesterday and I didn't come across any. But I know I have a box of Halloween charms somewhere. So that's the only thing I'll add after the video. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing that quick little fun project. These are from the Dollarama in Canada. So if you don't have access to them, I suppose you could probably find a die cut like this, but you could do this with any shape. Any cardstock shape that you have makes a good cover. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Most of all, have a great day and happy crafting.